Hello everyone and welcome to Beyond the Veil background information. Right, we're doing a character profile from one of my stories and it's another Viper character because they're the main stories of the Veil that I get out most. And particularly it's Aurel Viper now. In December of 2023, I was supposed to release the last rattle, which is Aurel's story. Now, unfortunately, because of my health problems I've been having for a while now, I only just managed to finish the book in December, so it's currently in editing for a June release. So I apologise that's going to be delayed, but it's about the character that we're going to talk about now, which is Aurel. So as always, you'll get a quote from one of the stories they're featured in. You'll get a little discussion on what prompted me to make this character, and then you'll get the character profile. Now, because he's a main character, Aurel's profile is more detailed for my Patreon users, so there's a separate profile for him on Patreon. But this one is a little more interesting because I'm talking to you through it. So let's get into it. You know, aside from the fact you smell awfully of leather, I think it's a vampire thing. You aren't too annoying so far. That's a quote from the last rattle. So Aurel is my hero in the next story. To be fair, he does have a lot of things happen to him, and he grows a lot in it, but he's cheeky and ridiculous at first, although the chemistry with Cassandra is rather instant. In some ways, I worry the relationship doesn't get as much time when I wrote the story, but then I realised that everything with them is the crux of the story and the events, because at the end of the day, they're supposed to be like a Romeo Juliet kind of thing, and I suppose there are moments where it could be close. He's not perfect. I don't like perfect characters at all, but he is good. And when I was going through, I was trying to decide whose children should be important because this is like we're now on to like the third generation. Well, really, I count them as the second because the first lot is Theo and Adelia's children. So when I was pulling through, I was like, so who should I give a main character kid to? Who hasn't had a main book about them? And I thought, well, obviously Noel hasn't. And then I thought, well, he paired with the Romanian Serena. So I've always liked the name Aurel. I have a younger sibling called Aurelia, and Aurel and Aurelian are very common male Romanian names. So I thought, yeah, this is what I was going to do. I was going to choose him. However, when I did all these, I'd originally like created basic profiles for them, so like the personalities and little snippets of things that happen to them, like their career and stuff like that. So it was pure random choice that it was Aurel that I decided would work best for the story I wanted to do. But anyway, as he's one of my main characters in the Viper Clan, he does have a fuller profile on my Patreon for Patreon viewers, so there's a link to it in the description. Okay, so let's get into this. So, name Aurel Lucas Viper, position Veil Agent, story featured in various main story is The Last Rattle, role protagonist, gender male. Description: soft wavy locks of reddish brown hair, bright brown eyes that are almost honey coloured and shine yellow when he's annoyed. His hair is neck length, but tends to bounce around his ears and the bottom of his seeming mop with its constant coils. With its constant coils. He is all about 5'9", but he's not as broad as his father and is probably quite slim in comparison to his elder brother Vadim. Vadim with a slightly thinner chest. He has a brilliant smile that curls slightly at the edge to always make it look cheeky, and he has some freckles around his nose that only tend to show up when he blushes. He has light olive skin, but his Romanian heritage is quite clear, as are the lightning eyebrows from his Viper heritage. Realm, the Veil. Abilities: those of most vampires to turn into a bat and recover through draining blood, but due to his bloodline he's got more tolerance to sunlight, and he has a particular fondness for humour and sleeping in Barnaby's coffin at work. Master the Almighty. Personality: playful and teasing. He can swear a bit, but likes to look at life in a casual manner, grinning and smiling all the time. He is a reckless flirt, and sometimes he likes to act like he's far older and far more important. But his youthful looks always give him away. He makes the worst jokes going, but he's always fun to be around and doesn't tend to let things get him down. Though he can be a terrible gossiper if he's got something good. He's very devoted to his work, though, and he wants to be the best vampire agent he can and really show how amazing vampires can be at helping people. Relations: son of Noel and Serena Blesteman, son of Noel Viper and Serena Blesteman, younger brother of Draga and Vadim, elder brother of Furka and Narcissa. History: born as son number 2 and child number 3, Aurel was a bright sunbeam that would never stop talking or running as soon as he learnt how, and was very into his books. He always liked to try and guess what something was, using an old encyclopedia to look up species religiously. Although if he was told it was wrong, he'd write it in crayon and annoy his grandmother Adelia. As he grew up, he knew very well he wanted to be a Vale agent, and thankfully the Ryder family encouraged him too. However, an incident on the journey back lost the lives of all but one member of the Ryder family, and it would later make his situation with Esteban awkward as he got into the agents. But he was always bothered by the way his siblings acted. Drago went for a Naga that he just never assumed could be part of their family dynamic. Then Vadim accepted an arranged marriage and changed his name so he is not to be titled a Viper. Narcissa later hangs around a demon, and Furka, his precious little brother, started acting strange and ignoring love. Aurel is a constant flirt in comparison, and he has many girlfriends, and he's always getting told off for something he's done, like stealing a kiss. But as a Vale agent, he starts to behave himself, and then, rather annoyingly, everything gets awkward when his cousin Césaire has to have a shotgun wedding, and he's got to turn up. Considering Césaire and Uncle Beauregard were his wingmen for getting girls, suddenly Furka's acting even weirder around some male dancer, and then he's paired up with a Strix named Cassandra. Could they ever get along? Final comments. Aurel does start out in the story as a bit of a playboy like several of his friends, cousins, and peers, but he's quick to start realising it's not the way it should be, although it does take Cassandra being his focal point to teach him that. And we'll do Cassandra's profile next month, so I hope you found it interesting. Thank you.